So you use the stat button on your calculator, find it, it's next to the variable key. And you're gonna get a menu that looks like this. Okay? Edit means it's gonna give you a list and it's gonna give you access to insert your data. Okay? So just hit enter once you get this. Okay, now I have a lot of stuff in my list. You might have empty lists. And that's what you want, is empty lists. And your first list should be L1 and your second list L2. So let me ask everyone, do you have L1 as your first list and L2 as your second? Because some calculators have different, yours is different? Okay, we have a way of dealing with that, just remind me, okay? And then we want to clear the list. So does anyone have numbers already in your list? Okay, so I'm going to clear my list and I'll show you that those of you who have lists already cleared, you can ignore me. You're going to move over to the list you want to clear. I'm on L2, so I'm just going to go up there. Use your up arrow until L2 is bolded, and then you're going to hit clear, the clear button, and then enter, and it'll clear the list.
So we just have to have one list clear.
You need to have two lists, L1 and L2 we need cleared, okay?
What if you
It doesn't have to be, but it's going to make it easier because your calculator is going to default to L1 and L2. Okay? All right, now I'm going to go over to L1, arrow up to where L1 is bolded, hit clear, and enter. Okay, my lists are all cleared out. If you have other lists that you want to clear out, you could do it for all of your lists. Okay? All right, is there anyone who's not at that spot right now? Okay, so you got empty lists. Okay, so now we're going to fill out our information. We're inserting into list 1 all of our times. Okay? Now, I'm not going to want you to do 1201, okay, 101, because what is that going to do? If this is going to represent your x-axis, how is that going to happen? You're going to do 1201, 101, 201, no. We're going to say hour 0, hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, okay? So your first time is going to be 0. Okay, if you do 0 for your first time, what will be the last entry in list 1? 23. Why is it 23? You're starting at 0. If I start at 1, I can do 24. And there's nothing wrong with starting at 1 either, but we're just going to all do the same. So when you insert the numbers in your list, you're just going to 0, 0, enter 1, enter 2, enter until you get to 23. If you messed up, there's a delete button. Okay. Okay, then you're going to, once you have that, I don't want to rush any of you. Do you have that? Through 23? Okay, now you're going to just arrow over to list 2. So arrow right. And now you're going to enter all of your heights. Okay, now there's lots of decimals, aren't there? So you just need to decide where you're going to cut it off and just be consistent. All right, now I think this calculator only takes you 4 decimals anyway. You could probably put more in, but it's only going to show you 4. And so you can do 3 decimals like we do in calculus. If I'm going to do 3.437, if you're going to cut it off at all of the third decimals. If you're going to round, make sure you round on all of them. Just stay consistent with how you enter your height data. Okay, I am going to give you a couple of minutes to get all that put in, because it does take some time. Be careful, because if your lists don't line up, then you're going to get an error message on your calculator. probably the hardest part of this assignment. How are we doing? Where are we at? Anyone still putting numbers in? Yeah, if you don't see a number aligned with 23, you're gonna have to go back through. You can insert, if you do second delete, it inserts a number, which you could try. Okay, do we have any issues with things not lining up?
Wait, should we have a total of 24 on both sides?
Yeah, your 23, which was the last number we entered in this one, should have a number next to it. If it doesn't, then you've got, your lists aren't lined up and you won't be able to do it. Calculator will give you an error message. Oh, Topher. Okay, how many of you are okay with your list? You're all good? Okay. Topher, I'll catch you up. All right. This is the cool part. Now you're gonna graph this on a stat plot. So we're gonna make an actual scatter plot of our data. So you're gonna have to go, now before you do that though, go to your y equals and clear out all your equations. If there's any equations in your y equals in your equation editor, clear them all out. Okay, because that'll mess it up. Alright? So you want to clear all your equations out. And then it's second y equals. Second y equals is your stat plot. So if you do second y equals, if you work with statistics, you've recognized this already. Okay? Now you're going to want to use one of your stat plots. Right now they're all off because we don't use them. So you just hit enter, and then you're going to turn one on. So I'm just going to turn this one on. So just hit enter and it'll blink on the on. Now it asks you what type. So mine is bolded with a scatter plot. You've got other choices. This one over here is your histogram. You've got your box and whisker plots. So other versions of a statistical analysis. All right, so we're going to do a scatter plot. And then, McCabe, this is where you or anyone with lists in different columns need to fix it. Okay? Every key, or almost every key, has L1, L2, L3 in blue. You see it? If you want to change the list, you just do second and then tell your calculator where to retrieve the information from. For most of us, the X list is your 0 to 23, and that's an L1. The Y list is our heights, and that's an L2. But if you've got them in different lists, you're going to want to help your calculator recognize which list to pull from. Am I making sense? Okay, so you're going to have to change that if your lists are different. They are named differently. Okay, and then the type of mark that you want to see on your graph, this is just personal choice. I've got the little boxes. You can have plus signs or little dots. Okay? Once you got that set up, all you need to do is hit graph. Okay? Now yours might look different from mine because you need to set up a correct window. Right? Our X's went from what number total? 0 to 23. So you want to adjust your window to see all of your data. And then you can stay negative 10 to 10 on your box. Okay? So that is your graph. Now, what does it look like? It's like a
sine graph.
Yeah, it's a trig graph, right? It's a sine soil. It can be a cosine or a sine, like we talked about earlier, right? Okay, so on the back, this is where you start answering the questions. You can work in your groups. You're going to just do like what we do in calculus. You're going to just sketch what the picture of, you're just going to transfer the picture you see on the calculator to your paper, and then answer number 1. And then we're going to come back and I'll show you how to do number 2. All right, and then hopefully Topher, have you caught up? You got all of them in now? Okay, so go to y equals, make sure all your equations are out. Okay, now go second y equals. Okay, you're gonna turn the clock on, so.
Zero is
Okay, turn it on, signature. Now you chosen the scatter plot, you held L1 and L2.
That?
Okay, so you're good, now just hit graph. There you go, now change your window to 0 to 23. On the X.
I'm gonna just get the lowest one on the thing, the highest one on the thing.
So while you're doing drawing your graph, and then answering question number 1.
To create a curve best?
Yes, there's probably a button.
Oh, because the calculator gave you data.
Now, you don't have to be super accurate and write all those dots on there, just kind of give a sketch of what the curve looks like. Okay, yeah.